So you recorded the drums and now it's time to mix them. Maybe you got that next social media post, rebroadcast mix, or maybe you're working on a new record and you really need to enhance those drums to take it to the next level, but you don't know where to start. Don't worry about it. We're gonna go over some mix perspectives and I'm gonna help you take your drums to the next level. All right, here we go. I got this drum session. I actually recorded these drums from a church service, and a good friend of mine is playing here. We're just gonna listen. I'm not gonna have any other music playing. We're really just gonna focus on drums today. So let's take a listen. All right, I just wanted to play a little bit here so you can listen. I still have everything in mono. The reason why I have everything in mono, I'm listening to the phase of the drums, making sure everything has the proper impact. That's extremely important. Now, I've actually gone through the trouble of making sure everything was in phase before starting the video. I can shoot another video showing you ways to put your drums in phase in post. But here, what we're doing is we're listening to the drums. Mixing is a listening discipline, so it's important that we take time to listen. I'm going to play a shorter piece of it, but the one thing I noticed from the last time, and you guys can listen when I play it, is that the hi-hat is kind of loud in this particular mix. All right, so that hi-hat is kind of jumping out at you, which means that's the first thing I pay attention to. So which means the best place to start is, for me, is to pull that hi-hat down a little bit. All right, we're going to pull that hi-hat down and just listen real quickly. All right, so now the hi-hat feels a little better. It feels like it's a part of the whole picture of the drums. But the next thing I noticed after pulling that down is that kick doesn't really have a lot of punch to it. It's not sitting at a place where I feel like it is a good foundation for the drums. You know, I'm a drummer, so man, that snare and that kick got a punch. It got a hit. So we're gonna take a listen here. All right, I'm noticing that I'm listening to the kick and I'm listening to it in relationship with the whole picture of the drums. Snare seems a little loud in this particular balance, so I'm gonna pull the snare down just a hair. Just a hair. All right. The bottom snare mic seems a little loud. I want the snare to punch, but I don't want so much of the sizzle to be a part of the whole sound of the snare, if that makes sense. Excuse me, as you can tell, the overall sound of the drums seem a little bit lower, but I know we're going to add some EQ, maybe even some compression, and that's going to give us some of that volume back, so I'm not really concerned about that difference. Now, one thing that I always start to do is pay attention to the overheads, how the kick and the overheads are sitting. The overheads are the mics that are getting the full picture of the kick. Every other mic that's on the drum set is generally a close mic. And the overheads are getting the full picture. So they hear all of the drums. They hear the hi-hat. They hear the kick. They hear the overhead. So with that being said, I'm going to see the relationship between what I deem the most important mics, your overheads, your snare mic, and your kick. So I'm going to start with the kick and the overheads. I was just listening to overheads. We're still in mono. And from just that pass there, I can tell that the kick doesn't really have a lot of space, not taking up a lot of space in the overhead mics, which that lets me know in order to create more space so that the kick can punch through, what I can do is start to roll off or get rid of some of the frequencies that the kick is taking up on those overheads to create more separation between the overheads and the kick and allow that kick to kind of punch through. I'm gonna just grab a trusty EQ that I tend to use a lot. It's an older EQ, but man, it sounds great. So it's the Oxford EQ from Sonox. All right. So I'm just gonna solo the left side. All right, so just that one EQ move, kind of just pull the kick down just a little more. All I'm trying to do is just create a little space, a little more space. Not necessarily trying to get rid of what is there. I know a lot of times we tend to roll low end off, and that's not a bad thing. A lot of people talk about the phase that it creates, linear phase issues that it may bring, and depending on how high you're rolling off, you could cause aliasing. Guys, when you're using a multi-mic source like drums, you are 100% guaranteed to have phase issues. So you can get in the weeds of worrying about the phase issues, or you could just make the moves that enhance the sound. And again, our focus is just to enhance the sound, not change the sound, not create something that's not there, but just to enhance what's there. So I'm not getting rid of all of the low end that the overheads have. What I'm doing is just pulling down the frequencies where the kick is probably living the most. All right, so now that I know that works, I'm gonna play the kick just with that left overhead really quickly and just listen to the separation. So I'll be bypassing the plug-in that's on the overheads. All right. So if you're listening on a good set of headphones or good set of speakers, it's a very subtle difference, but it's there. Very subtle difference. Haven't added any EQ to the kick or anything. I'm just creating space so that the kick just sits a little better on its own, so I can enhance the sound of the recorded drums. So I'm just going to take the plug-in that I put on the left overhead, move it down to the right overhead, just so we have that even spread across those overheads while I'm still in mono. All right, if you heard there, I bypassed both of those plugins. What I get when I enable the plugin, I just get a little more punch, a tad bit more body from the actual kick. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the kick and I'm gonna kind of enhance some of the frequencies in the kick that I took away from the overheads just to create that separation. All right, so these moves are very subtle. You might not hear a drastic change at this point, but as we continue to build, you'll start to hear the changes. That's with the kick bypassed. Now I'm gonna bring the kick back in. All right, so That gave me a little bit more punch, a little bit more body, but I'm starting to hear a frequency in the kick that I'm not really a fan of as it relates to the overheads. So I'm gonna find that frequency and we're gonna pull it out here. We're just gonna sweep first. So now I'm gonna solo the kick. This really boxy frequency right here. I'm gonna take that frequency and tuck it a little bit. Yep. Now that I've tucked that, I'm gonna bring those overheads back. Bypass. Enable kick. All right, so now the kick is starting to take a little shape. I'm gonna pull that down just a little bit. So I'm pulling out 5 dB. None of these rules of where I pull a frequency out are hard and fast. I'm not a guy who subscribes to always take out 400 on the kick, always take out this particular frequency. I have spots that I work with a frequency, but I know that a lot of times those frequencies aren't always the same, so I don't fully subscribe to always removing a specific frequency. It's nothing wrong with that if that's your ideology, but that's just not how I go about my process. All right, so now that I've kind of enhanced the kick, it sits better with the overheads. I'm gonna add the snare top in. Take the kick out. All right, I can already hear a frequency in the snare that I'm not really a fan of, and I think removing that frequency is gonna allow it to shine a little more on its own. It may even introduce a little more top end. Right, so really a subtle frequency. Not hearing much difference at this point, but as we continue to add EQ, as we continue to add compression and other processing, all of these spots will start to kind of poke out. So I'm just kind of taming some things here. I am going to boost this particular spot on the snare 200 to 220, just see what it gives me. That's generally where the body of the snare drum is, and I'll just find the spot that feels the best. I like what I'm getting right there around 199 hertz. Again, not really hard and fast about where things are. Just trying to find a spot that feels like things are being enhanced. And once I make the move, I always play it back, bypass, and enable just to see the differences that are being made. All right, so adding that 199, about almost 3 dB, it kind of changes the tone of the snare a little bit, makes it a little warmer, a little darker, also gives it a little more punch. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna solo the snare, and now I'm gonna listen to some of the information that Mike may be picking up, just to see how much is that changing the snare sound. If you're listening, on a good set of headphones, you can hear the tonal change, or a good set of speakers. All right, so now I'm gonna add that bottom snare in. All right, just the solo. All right, just by soloing, I can tell that that frequency that I took out of that top snare, somewhere around that same spot, is causing a problem for me on that bottom snare. And just like the top snare, I'm gonna go up to around that same 299. So put it right at 200 and just boost it. I want that snare to overall have that same type of bottom. Again, if we're taking our time and listening, we'll hear that tonal change. And actually, the tonal change will probably become more apparent once you add the overheads back in. All right, so that's the overheads, snares, snare top and bottom, and kick. Now we'll listen to the whole kit since we've made the changes. Now, mind you, we've still been in mono. We're going to take a listen to the track we started with. All right, so there, we can tell at this point the snare and the hi-hat was just taking over that balance. So that balance doesn't necessarily represent where we are now. So now we're going to go in. I'm going to start moving things into the stereo field so we can give the drums a little more life, a little more spread, and start to listen to some further enhancements. So now, all right, so now I'm listening to that kick again. When I spreaded things out, the kick kind of got dull again to me. Haven't made a bunch of EQ moves on it just yet. So what I'm gonna do is the approach I'm going to take on this is I'm going to go to what I use a lot of times in the mix. It's just a channel strip plugin. It doesn't matter which channel strip plugin you use. Find one that you like and just use that one. I tend to go to the Plugin Alliance J series, 9000J. It's an SSL emulation. So I'm going to go here and just watch how some of these, I'm gonna make some further EQ moves to carve out a little tone, and then I'm gonna add compression to just give the kick some more life. All right, so now we're gonna add that smooth SSL compression. All right. Now, if you're hearing the kick is actually coming through a lot stronger now, it's pushing a little bit. So now let's go through and start to carve some of the other elements out even more, just to enhance the sound of the drums. So I want to add a little compression to the snare, only to bring that top mic out just a little bit, I don't feel, well, no, I'll go with another channel strip plug-in, only because I want to add a little top end. I like that top end, so now I'm gonna add that compression. Now, as you can see, when I added the compression, all of the other elements got louder. All right, so right now we've just added minimal compression to the kick, to the snare, added EQ, a second stage of EQ on the kick and snare, top, and minimal EQ throughout the mix thus far, and I haven't touched the toms at all. We've enhanced the drums. We've taken the drums to another level now. We're gonna take another listen. Listen to where we started. And I know that's in mono. We're gonna listen to where we are now. All right, so what I'm starting to notice is that the drums still sound a little distant from the moves that I made earlier in terms of volume. So what I'm gonna do is come over to the overheads, and I'm gonna turn those overheads down just a tad. All right, if you're listening to the kick, to the kit, it's starting to take more shape. I'm personally still not in love with the sound of the kick. I'm gonna take another step, take that kick a step further. But before I do, I just want to pay attention to the toms a little bit. Here we go. All right, so this little spot right here, I'm gonna grab this. All right, so thus far I haven't done any sound replacement. I haven't gotten rid of any, used a gate or an expander to get rid of any of the sounds of the drums. And the reason why is because I'm just trying to enhance the drums. So this is how you enhance the sound of the recorded drums. I'll begin, as we move forward, I'll start to get into carving out certain things to help make the drums punch through, give them a lot more of a cleaner feel as we move forward, to even take the drums to the next level. So starting with tom 1, actually I'll shorten this here. All right, so just with that tom there, what I want to do with the tom here is I do want to clean the tom up a little bit. Toms are a little different. Those mics hear a lot of information in between a tom hit. So I'm just gonna go and start by using a simple expander here on the SSL E channel from UAD. This is just what I'm using. It's not for any particular reason. right, so that snare is still coming through. So that lets me know this is probably not the best option here. So I'm going to go down Sonics, grab the drum gate. One of the favorites, Black Salt Audio makes a good one as well. Let's listen here. And I'm just instantiating the plug-in on the tom. Nothing crazy. All right, so that's cleaning up the toms. Might be doing a little more. Might be doing a little more than I wanted to at this point. So before I clean them up, let's go in and let's start EQing. Now, I'm gonna grab this EQ, same EQ, just one of my favorites. First thing I'm looking for on the tom is the spot I don't like. And as you can hear on that tom, just getting rid of that spot substantially, close to 10 dBs, just getting rid of that spot is gonna give the tom the tonal quality is just gonna really be enhanced just by getting rid of that spot. And what I'm also gonna do is find the fundamental frequency and boost it just to enhance that tone a little more. And I'm gonna enhance some attack. All right, it's some kick coming through, so I'm gonna just kind of pull that low end up a little bit. Before the EQ, after the EQ. And that's just with EQ, no compression, no gate, anything. Same thing here. I'm gonna drag this down and just we're gonna find that 12-inch tom and do the same thing. Start from scratch. Yeah, that sound, it's a hollow sound. Pull that sound out. I think this can stand to be a little louder. All right, so find that fundamental frequency. And that fundamental frequency is that round resonant sound. You want to push that, and that's just going to enhance that tone. And how you find it, honestly, just use your ears. Push the frequency until you hear that really round note, and that's generally where the fundamental frequency is for any particular sound, but in this case for the tom. Boosting a little attack. Getting a little distance. All right. Now, without the EQ, with the EQ. Oh man, starting to sound really good. All right, let's find a good spot for this floor tom here. Floor toms are, in my opinion, heavily dependent on a drum setup. Depending on where cymbals are set up, sometimes the floor tom can be hard to kind of isolate. So let's listen to that floor tom. Stretch that out a little bit. All right, we're gonna go grab the same EQ. Mind you, you do not have to use this EQ. I patronize a lot of different companies, so EQ Pro EQ4, Isotope, all of these SSL plugins. I have a bunch of EQs, but I really like this Oxford EQ. It's really simple. It's 5 bands and filters. It has some different character types, but it just kind of helps you pinpoint what you're looking for, whether you want to boost or cut, without a lot of the bells and whistles. And I don't think the bells and whistles are a problem. I just think when you have more options, it's easier to get in the weeds instead of just making a decision. So as you can see, as we've been going through this process, I've just been finding frequencies, making a decision, and moving on to the next piece. So I'm gonna do the same thing. We're gonna find that spot. Sounds really hollow. Take it out. Floor tom is a bigger drum, so I tend to pull that frequency out a lot more on the floor tom. All right. Same thing. We're gonna find that. Fundamental. And you can hear it kind of punches through when you find that fundamental frequency. And then we're gonna find that impact at the top, so that top end attack. And as you can tell, the larger the drum, the further those spots are, which is why I'm never married to a specific frequency. So again, with the EQ, without the EQ, with, without. All right, so I just find this spot here, and we're just gonna listen to all of those toms. All right, so at this point, we got an EQ on our toms. Yes, there is still some trash in the mics from the other drums being picked up, but we're just gonna listen to the drum sound as we have it now. All right, so I know we're in mono, but this is where we started. And this is where we are now. All right, and as you can see, we've taken our drums to another level. We started out with balance. We went into EQ, just frequency carving, not really getting rid of so much, taking away things that were very apparent and just slightly enhancing the things that are good. The reason why I'm making smaller moves on the boost is because it gives me room to add compression, get volume. It gives me room to add another stage of EQ if I so desire to do. And I haven't really gated anything. One thing I'll do is show you what I do. I don't love drum gates, personally. I don't really love drum gates, but I do use them from time to time. And as you can see, the Oxford is a great drum gate, but I personally prefer to manually gate my toms. So I'll show you that process here really quickly. Where I manually gate my toms. It is a lot of work. I won't act like it's not. It is a lot of work. But once you learn how to do it in your respective DAWs, you'll see that it serves a very good purpose to just have your toms as clean as possible. It's oh my goodness, it makes a world of difference. So I'm gonna enhance these waveforms a little bit. I kind of know what my toms look like, and I'll grab this one. I'll grab this here, just this spot, and this is more so of a Pro Tools thing. I subscribe to Pro Tools. When it comes to just my drum production, or any production for that matter, workflow, Pro Tools is just my go-to. But you can do the same thing in any other DAW for that matter. And I'll just show you how clean these toms sound now. Just that spot. All right, so now that I've done that, if I wanted to take these toms and add compression to them, add another stage of EQ to kind of enhance that, it actually will really enhance that drum tone. I have a group here that I use on this tom group, and I'll just add another stage of EQ. I use a simple EQ, and I'm just gonna EQ everything. I'm gonna use a pull tech. I just want to hear more of the attack, just to clean the toms up a little bit. All right. Now, this is something I would do for the entire section, but I'm just showing you here just another way to enhance those toms. So. All right. I just want to enhance the top end. So that floor tom is responding more to this than, all right, which means what I want to do here is boost the top end on this first tom here. So, yeah, I am not afraid to boost 15 dB if I need to. I am not. All right. So got that top end I'm looking for, and I'm just gonna show the whole kit from that area. Tom starting to punch through. So that's just one spot. I would actually do this for the whole drum section, and I think I might have done it here. No, I didn't actually. Didn't do it for this whole section, but that's just another way to clean your drums up. You can manually gate your drums. I'm gonna go back here. Now the other piece, another way you can do this is by using drum replacement, drum samples. Here I have a track that I always keep close by for drum samples. I'm gonna just copy and paste the kick down, go to the drum sampler that I tend to use, Slate Digital. Trigger. I think most people are familiar with this, but the kick sound that I use is a kick sample from my personal drum set. I love what I did with it, so I use it as my kick trigger. So I'm gonna enhance that sound. It's real tight, real punchy, just kind of helping punch through a little bit. All right, this is without it. Now this is with it. And it just kind of helps punch through a little bit. So that's what I do. I just wanted to punch through. I want to keep the drums feeling natural, even if I use drum samples. I try not to overdo it. I have in the past, but I don't really subscribe to that idea anymore. If I feel like this kick doesn't work and I need something that's a little more robust, then I'll just go through and find one that better fits. All right, and I'm gonna do the same thing for the snare. I'll take the snare top, copy it down to my sample track. Let me try. Before I do that, I'm listening to this kick. I just thought about something. All right, so they're in phase. I flipped the phase on them. I lost low end. That lets me know flipping the phase took them out of phase. So they are in phase. So let's go to the snare. Real clean sound. All right, sounds really, almost sound fake for that matter. But once you blend it in with your actual snare, I'm listening. Yep, so make sure it's triggering. All right. Now that I know it's triggering, I'm also going to listen to the tone of it. So one is, one is. All right, so now they're kind of in the same key. Take the sample, pull it all the way down, and just blend and taste. All right, so now. All right, so the drums have been enhanced quite a bit. Now, what I'm noticing on this right overhead is that it seems like it's closer to the cymbal than the left overhead. So it's a harshness, and I'm not really a fan of that. So I'm going to use Pro Q4, but what I'm doing, I'm using it more so in a utilitarian fashion, not really for EQ, but for compression. And I needed to focus on the frequency where the cymbals, I needed to respond to the cymbals, not so much to the snare or any other drums for that matter. So it's still kind of responding to the snare. All right, so that's a different cymbal as well. Go back to the top and just kind of listen to crashes from up here. All right, that seems like it evens it out. I'm gonna bypass it. Yeah, so just doing that kind of pulls it back, almost like digitally moving the mic in post. All right, now I'm listening. In that period of time, I'm just listening to the crashes of the overheads. The left overhead here. Find that spot right there. Hear all that air. I kind of want to get rid of some of that. I'm gonna do the same thing. That was 524. 524 on the left head. Now, mind you guys, you can have a stereo track and just have one plug in. The reason why I separate the tracks is because sometimes, as you can see, you may have a situation where you need to treat one piece of the stereo information totally different than the other. So this is why I'm doing this. Now, mind you, I could have used the EQ4. I just like separate tracks. Very subtle, but just helps create space. All right, man, we've taken the drums a long way. I know this is mono, but we'll listen one last time here. And this is where we ended up. Boost a little low end on this EQ, make that floor tom kind of. I want to add a little low end to the sample, to the kick sample. Same thing, just gonna grab pull tech just to enhance the low end. 808s, bass, low end, pull tech is kind of the go-to for me. I think for most of anyone, for that matter. I actually want to enhance the top mic a little bit. I think just turning it up gave it what I needed. Oh, man. All right, so, man, we've taken the drums from just his regular recording. We've enhanced the recorded drums. I didn't do a lot of gating. I didn't do a lot of removing. Did not do a lot of over processing. Just really finding spots that needed to be enhanced with EQ, finding spots that needed to be taken away with EQ, a little bit of compression, and we've totally almost changed the sound of the drums, really lifted them. They could better work with your rebroadcast mix. They would sound better for any of your social media posts, or depending on the type of record you're releasing. If you want to have live drums and just have a better sound, I can actually do a part B, kind of getting more into what these drums would sound like if I really separated them. With some manual gating and maybe even adding tom samples to enhance the sounds of the toms. Those were just the natural tom sound, and they sounded good, so I didn't feel like it was necessary to add a sample. I added a kick sample because I wasn't really loving the impact holistically that I was getting from the natural kick. Though it sounded okay, I felt like it could be better. And the snare sample that I added was just to actually make this the snare cut through a little more. A lot of times I use samples to make them cut through dense mixes, or just to get a character sound. And I really like what I had there. So yeah, hopefully this gave you a better idea or some new ideologies on how to better enhance your natural drum sound. Until next time, man. Peace.